بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. محمد سعيد with you, physics teacher. We are going to talk about our new program, 10 questions program. هنعمل برنامج جديد 10 questions على كل lesson. نقدر نغطي بيه the most important questions in this lesson. This lesson we are going to talk about resistivity, 10 questions. 10 questions on resistivity. From a professor question bank sheet. ان شاء الله عندنا هنا في الشيت ده I prepared it. طبعا انا حضرته. الشيت ده حوالي 200 صفحه على تشابتر 1 بس. في طبعا حوالي 470 MCQ questions، 470 سؤال تشوز على النظام الجديد على تشابتر 1 بس، على اول 4 lessons. ده غير طبعا في جزء تاني، يعني ده حوالي 116 صفحه اللي هو MCQ، وفي حوالي 80 صفحه تانيين another questions. Question number 1, choose the correct answer. An electric current of intensity 4.8 ampere. Question number 1, Professor question bank sheet. An electric current of intensity 4.8 I equals 4.8 ampere passes through a conductor. So the number of electrons that flow within 1 second equals the required is the number of electrons. We have learned before that the charge of the electron equals 1.6 times 10 to the power negative 18 coulomb within time equals 1 second. Okay, we have learned before that I equals Q over T, and Q equals what? Q equals number of electrons times the charge of the electron. So N equals what? N equals I times T over E. I 4.8 times time 1 second over the charge of electron 1.6 times 10 to the power negative 90. So number of electrons flow through the conductor equals 3 times 10 to the power 19 electrons. So the true answer is A. 3 times 10 to the power 19 electrons. Okay, another question. Question number 2. If the length of a conductor wire is increased by 0.1%, the length increased by 0.1%. For example, this is the wire L1 equals L. For example, we can suggest that L1 equals 100 meters, for example. So its length increased by 0.1%, which means that if its length is 100 meters, this means that the new length becomes 100.1 meter, L2. Okay, we suppose that the length of the first wire 100. The length of the second wire equals 100.1, because the question says that if the length of the conducting wire is increased by 0.1%. So the ratio of increase in the resistance, which means the increase in the resistance over the original resistance. Suppose it is R and it is R2, for example. R1 equals R and R2. Okay. R1 and R2. R1 equals what? R1 equals rho E L over A, L1 over A1. R2 equals rho E. It is made of the same substance, so rho E is the same. L2 over A2. So R1, so R2 over R1 equals what? R2 rho E L2 equals what? 100.1. So we can replace it 100.1 over A. The cross section area is the same times the reciprocal of R1 A over rho E L1, which equals 100. L1 equals 100. Rho E cancel with rho E because both of them made from the same substance, because we have the same resistivity and both of them have the same cross section area. So R2 over R1 equals what? 100.1 over 100. So R2 equals what? R2 equals 100.1 over 100 times R1. 100. So 1.001 R1. So delta R equals what? The increase. Delta R means the increase in resistance. The increase in resistance equals R2 minus R1. R2 equals what? 1.001 R1 minus R1. So equals by subtracting equals 0.001 R1. So delta R equals what? 0.001 R1 over the original resistance, which is R1. R1 cancels with R1, which equals 0.001 times 100 equals 0.1%. So the true answer is C. 0.1%. Okay, another question. Another question, question number 3. Number 3. If the resistivity of a certain metal is resistivity rho E of a certain metal equals 50 times 10 to the power negative 8 ohm meter. So the resistance of a cube, the resistance is required of a cube of length, its length, we have a cube, its length 50 centimeter, so 0.5 meter. So its resistance equals what? We have learned before R equals rho E L over A. So R equals rho E equals what? 50 times 10 to the power negative 8 times its length 0.5 over area. Area equals what? Length times width. Area equals length times width. So 0.5 times 0.5. We can cancel 0.5. So the true answer is 100 times 10 to the power negative 6. The true answer is D. 10 to the power negative 6 ohm. Okay, another question. Question number 4 on resistivity. Number 4. If both length and cross-sectional area of a certain conductor increase to double, if both lengths L2 equals to L1, the length increase to double, and area A2 equals to A1 increase to double. Their value. So its resistance is this, its value. So R2 equals what? We suppose that R1 equals rho E L1 over A1. So R2 equals rho E because it is made of the same substance. Rho E L2 over A2, which equals rho E. L2 equals what? 2L1, 2L1 over A2, 2A2. So 2 cancel with 2. So R2 equals what? Rho E L1 over A1, L1 over A1, rho E, L1 over A1 equals R1. So the resistance doesn't change, remains constant. So the true answer is C, remains constant. Okay, another question. Question number 5. Question number 5 says that a wire of resistance 20 ohms, wire its resistance equals 20 ohms, stretched or reshaped or compressed. All of this means that volume of the wire remains constant. Volume is constant. When it says the wire is stretched or reshaped or compressed, this means that the volume of this wire is constant. A wire of resistance 20 ohms stretched as its length increases 3 times. So L2 equals 3 times L1. Now we want to get A, the area of this wire after stretching it. Its initial length, so the resistance of the wire becomes this R2 equals what? Okay, we said that the volume before stretching, if we have a wire and we stretch it, so its area, cross-section area decreases and its length increases. Volume 1 of this wire equals volume 2 of this wire. Volume equals what? Area, cross-section area times length. So A1, L1 equals A2, L2. By substituting L2 equals what? 3 L1. So A1, L1 equals A2, 3 L1. L1 cancel with L1. So A2, A2 equals what? 1 over 3 A1. Okay? Substituting R2 equals what? R2 equals rho E L2 over A2. So R2 equals, you should know that R1 equals 20 ohms. R2 rho E, L2 equals what? L2, we can replace it by 3L1. 3L1 over A2, we can replace it by 1/3 A1. So rho E, 3 times 3 equals 9. Rho E, L1 over A1. R1 equals what? R1 equals rho E, L1 over A1. So we can replace rho E, L1 over A1 by R1, which equivalent to 20. So we can replace this part by 20. So R2 equals 9 times 20 equals 180 ohms. So the true answer is D, 180. 180 ohms. Okay. Another question. Sorry. Question number 6. Question number 6 in the professor question bank sheet. If 62.5 times 10 to the power 18 electrons pass through a wire in 1 second. So number of electrons, N equals what? 62.5 times 10 to the power 18 electrons. In 1 second, time equals 1 second. And the cross-sectional area of the wire is 0.1 meter square. Cross-sectional area A equals 0.1 meter square. So the current intensity equals space ampere. I equals space ampere. We have learned it before that I equals what? Q over T, which equivalent to N E over T. the charge of electron is constant, 1.6 times 10 to the power negative 18 coulomb. So by replacing I equals number of electrons 62.5 times 10 to the power 18 times charge of electron 1.6 times 10 to the power negative 19 over time 1. So I equals 62.5 times 1.6 equals 10. The true answer is 10 ampere. The true answer is 10 ampere. 10 ampere. The true answer is C. Okay, another question? Question number 7. Question number 7. When a wire of aluminium is bolt equivalent to stretched, okay, to decrease its diameter. Sorry, bolt is inversible to. When a wire of aluminium is bolt to decrease its diameter to half its value. So diameter means radius. Its radius R2 half R1. We can say diameter 2 equals half diameter 1. Diameter 2 equals 2R2 equals half 2R1. You can see with 2, so R2 equals half 2 half R1. The resistance space R2 equals what? We said that when the question says stretched or pulled or reshaped, this means that volume 2 equals volume in first case. Volume equals what? Volume of the wire. Area, cross-section area times length. So A2 L2 equals A1 L1. Okay, A equals what? By R2 square L2 equals by R1 square L1. By cancel with by. So R2 equals what? R2 equals half R1. Half R1 all power 2. You should concern with this. R1 square L1. Okay? So 1 over 4. 1 square 1. 2 square 4. R1 square L2 equals R1 square L1. R1 square cancel with R1 square. So L2 equals what? L2 equals 4 L1. L2 equals 4 L1. Okay, now R2 equals what? R2 equals rho E L2 over A2. So R2 equals rho E. L2 equals what? L2 equals 4 L1, 4 L1 over A2 equals what? A2 equals by R2 square. And R2 equals what? Half R1. So half R1 all power 2, which equals 2 square 4. 4 times 4 equals 16. 16 rho E L1 over by R1 square. By R1 square, which is equivalent to A1. We have learned before R1 equals what? Rho E L1 over A1. So we can replace this part by R1. So R2 equals what? 16 R1 equals 16 and R1. So the true answer is D, increases 16 times. D increases 16 times. Another question. Question number 8. Question 8. If the same potential difference is applied between two wires. We have two wires. Question number 8. Sorry. we have two wires. If the same potential difference is applied between two wires of the same length, L1 equals L2 and V1 equals V2. Wire A made of iron. Wire A made of iron its resistivity 10 to the power negative 7. Rho E iron 10 to the power negative 7 ohm meter. And wire P is made of copper, and the resistivity of copper 1.7 rho E copper 1.7 times 10 to the power negative 8 ohm meter. You can notice that the resistivity of copper is less than that of iron. So the same electric current passes through them, I1. So IA equals IB. So the ratio between radius of iron to the radius of copper is the ratio between radius R iron R Fe over R copper equals what? Approximately. Okay. From these informations, potential difference between two terminals of wire A equals potential difference between two terminals of wire P. Okay? And IA equals IB. So RA, by replacing potential difference equals what? From Ohm's law, potential difference equals I R. IA RA equals IB R P. And IA equals IB, so we can cancel. So RA equals RB, right? By replacing, substituting rho E RA iron, rho E iron, and L1 equals L2 equals L. So L over A iron or A equals rho E copper L over A E. L cancel with L. And rho E iron 10 to the power negative 7 over A equals what? By R A squared equals rho E copper 1.7 times 10 to the power negative 8 over AB by RB squared. By cancel with pi. So RFE, which is RA or RFE over RB, RA or R iron square over RB or R copper square equals what? 10 to the power 7 over 10 to the power negative 7 over 1.7 times 10 to the power negative 8. Square root for the two sides. So R Fe over R copper equals what? Using the calculator to get the ratio. Root 10 to the power negative 7 over 1.7 times 10 to the power negative 8 equals 2.4, approximately 2.4. So the true answer is B, 2.4. The true answer is B. Okay, another question. Okay, question number 9. A metallic wire of length 1 meter and radius 0.6 meter and its resistance 3 times 10 to the power negative 3. Its resistance 3 times 10 to the power negative 3 ohm. And a disc is made of the same material. A disc is made of the same material. So rho E of this wire equals rho E of the disc. Of radius 2 centimeters. Its radius R equals 2 centimeters, which equivalent to 0.2 meters of the disc. And its thickness is 1 millimeter. Its thickness L equals 1 millimeter or 0.001 meter. The resistance between its circular faces. For example, this is a disc. You can imagine it. So the radius 0.02. So the resistance between its two circular faces. So this is the area and this is the thickness. Its thickness is the length. R equals what? R of this disc. R of the disc equals what? We have learned before that R disc equals rho E L, which is the thickness of the disc. We have the length of the thickness over area, and we have the area of the disc, but we didn't have its resistivity. But we learned that its resistivity equals the resistivity of the wire because they are made of the same substance. So from the wire we can get the resistivity of the disc. R wire equals rho E wire L wire over A wire. So rho E equals what? R wire times A wire over L wire. R wire equals 3 times 10 to the power negative 3 times A wire equals what? We have the radius, so A equals pi R square. Pi times R square, 0.6 square, over L of the wire, length of the wire equals 1 meter. So rho E equals what? Rho E equals, using calculator, 3 times 10 power negative 3 times by times 0.6 square equals 3.4 times 10 to the power negative 3 ohm meter. Now we have the resistivity of the disc. So R of the disc equals rho E of the disc times L, which is the thickness of the disc over area of the disc. Rho E equals 3.4 times 10 to the power negative 3 times length, which equivalent to the thickness, and its thickness equals 0.001 over area, pi times R square. Its radius equals what? 0.02 square. So using calculator to get the resistance, 3.4 times 10 to the power negative 3 times 0.001 over by R square equals 0.0027 ohms. So the true answer is which equivalent to 2.7 times 10 to the power negative 3 ohm. The true answer is B, but you can you can change it. 2.7 times 10 to the power negative 3, not negative 7. Oh. Okay, another question, the last question. سوري هو في بس خطأ مطبعي في نمبر 9 هتبقى نيجاتيف 3 بدل نيجاتيف 7. Question number 10. The last question, which is question number 12 in the professor in physics sheet. Question number 12 in the sheet. 2 wires made of copper. So, again, we have 2 wires. 2 wires made of copper. So, they must have different resistivity. They may have different resistivity. They always have the same resistivity. No correct answer. Again, they have different, they must have different resistivity. Choice B, they may have different resistivity. C, they always have the same resistivity. No correct answer. No correct answer. لو انت ما ركزتش في السؤال فحضرتك هتختار ايه، لكن هي غلط. تقول لي يا مستر ده كبر وده كبر، so they must have the sorry يعني لو انت ركزت في السؤال، لو حضرتك ما ركزتش في السؤال فحضرتك هتختار C. They always have the same resistivity. تمام؟ او لو هو مديك من ضمن الاختيارات they must have same resistivity، يعني ممكن يديك اختيار مثلا A B C D مثلا E يقول لك they must، يعني عكس الاختيار الاولاني must have the same resistivity. فحضرتك اول لما تشوف الاختيار ده هتروح تختار E. هي المشكله فين؟ المشكله في كلمه must. ده كبر وده كبر. يا مستر بنت لسه قايل لنا ان كبر طالما they are made of the same substance so they have the same resistivity at the same temperature. At the same temperature. يعني حضرتك ممكن يكون عندك كبر a wire made of copper and another wire made of copper والاثنين لهم resistivity مختلفه. ممكن لو ده its temperature مثلا 25 Celsius degrees and this wire its temperature 100 Celsius degrees. So now they have different resistivity. We said that the resistivity of the substance depends on what? 2 main factors. The type of material and temperature. فهو هنا ما قاليش في السؤال كلمة temperature. 2 wires made of copper. لازم يقول لي at the same temperature. لو قال لي at the same temperature أو constant temperature كنا نختار ده على طول. They must have the same resistivity. لكن بما انه ما قالش كلمه temperature ما جابش سيرتها فهقول لهم they may have different resistivity. ممكن يكون لهم different resistivity او they may have the same resistivity. ممكن يكون لهم نفس الريزستيفيتي. فهي كلمه may لان هو ما جابش سيره temperature. يعني ممكن يكون عندي 2 wires of the same substance and they have different resistivity if they have different temperature. لو ليهم different temperatures خلاص يبقى ده ممكن يكون ليه resistivity ليها قيمه معينه certain value and the other wire has another certain value اوكي. عشان كده الاختيار الصح they may have different resistivity. Okay. Thank you.